Hola, mis estudiantes. Our topic for today is going to be demonstrative adjectives and demonstrative pronouns. Now, that sounds really fancy, but I want you to keep in mind by the end of the notes today, you should be able to explain or be able to know how to say this, that, these, and those in Spanish. Okay? So let's get started. We have to know what demonstratives are. So, demonstratives indicate where something is located. So in Spanish, they show if something is close to, not as close to, or far from the subject or who is talking. So if I wanted to say, hey, I like this shirt, but I like that one over there better. Or, hey, I know that student that you're talking about. Or I know that teacher. Then that's an example of a demonstrative. So we're going to start with adjectives. Now remember, what's an adjective? Remember, adjectives are describing words. And in Spanish, our adjectives must agree with nouns in number and gender. So keep that in mind as you're learning these demonstrative adjectives. They're also going to have to agree with what it is that they're talking about. So here's our first list. Let's see here. Move this guy down a little bit. There we go. So if I want to say este, to say this, or esta, estos would be these, estas would be these if we're talking about feminine. So este, esta, this, estos or estas would be these. Alright, and if something is like not too close, or even if we're saying like that, then ese or esa, and then the plural form is esos or esas. So that, ese, esa, those would be esos or esas. And then in Spanish, if we're talking about something that's like way far away, then we've got aquel, aquella, aquellos, or aquellas. And aquel and aquella, they also mean that. And then aquellos or aquellas means those. And again, we're just emphasizing that that distance is far away from the speaker. Alright, so you've got this little image here. So your first opportunity to stop and practice. Oops, you have the answers right there. I want you to, how would I say that award way over there? What about that computer? What about this size? Is it cell phone? These apples. So go ahead and hit pause and let's see how you do with this practice. Okay. Here's your answers. Since manzanas, apples, is plural and feminine, it would be estas. If I'm talking about that award way over there, it would be aquel premio. Same thing with the basketballs, aquellas pelotas de basquetbol. If I just want to say that computer, esa computadora. And then celular is masculine, so it would be este celular. And then los lápices would be esos lápices. Make sure that you're jotting down any questions that you have. So we talked about demonstrative adjectives. Now we're going to talk about demonstrative pronouns. So again, the demonstrative is used to point out specific things or people. So remember, a pronoun replaces a noun. An adjective is describing that girl. But if I want to say that one, then I'm going to use the demonstrative pronoun. Again, in Spanish, pronouns agree in number and gender with the nouns they replace. So, if you'll notice, our charts are the exact same, or they will be the exact same, but they have an accent on that first E. We're going to talk through that here in just a little bit. So, este, esta, estos, estas. For some time with something that's not very close, ese, esa, esos, or esas. Again, you have an accent on those E's. And then, of course, aquel is going to look a little bit differently. That accent is on the E. That's kind of in the middle of the word. So, aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas. So, of course, our demonstrative pronouns have accents. So, if I wanted to say, instead of saying those cell phones, and I just want to say, hey, those over there, then I would say esos. And I'm talking about the cell phones. So, here's an example. ¿Cuánto cuesta este? So if I held up a ring and I said, ¿Cuánto cuesta este? And I'm talking about the ring, I'm saying, how much does this one cost? And the response could be, esa cuesta $10. That one costs $10. So do you see how instead of, we know that we're referring to the anillo or ring, but we're just saying this one or that one. And then to continue the conversation, aquel, that one way over there, es más barato. So that one over there is cheaper, or you could say is less expensive. Oh, okay, rewind. So if I wanted to say that one over there, I'm talking about el reloj, then what would my response be? So this is your second opportunity to para y practica. So I want you to go ahead and hit pause and write what the demonstrative pronoun would be for each one of those bullets, please. Alright, let's see how you do. Hot chocolate is delicious. If I want to say that one over there and I'm talking about el reloj, it'd be aquel. If I wanted to say this one and I'm talking about el premio, it would be este. Those, I know in English it kind of sounds funny, those ones, but it would be estos. Or these ones, sorry. The next one would be those ones. I know that sounds kind of funny, but esos. That one would be ese. And those way over there, talking about las manzanas, would be aquellas. Again, notice that they all have accents. And oftentimes you'll just use these in conversation after you've already established what it is that you're talking about. So that's all I have for you over demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. Something that's really helpful in just your everyday conversation. So it's going to be really important that you become comfortable. It's more or less just vocabulary, but we are going to do lots of things to practice. So please make sure that you jot down any questions that you have, and I will see you in class. Luego!